Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And
Ladies and gentlemen, Gabby, goddammit, we just discussed this, and we have Gabby here too.
Hi.
We literally just were like, hey, Gabby, we'll wait and let you, it's been a while since we've seen you. We're going to give you a big introduction. But I guess you decided to blow it. You're here too. How you doing?
In one ear, out the other.
I felt so awkward of just
Eject her from the thing. Just get her out of here.
That's literally why I went over it, was because, you don't say anything at the
It's
intro.
okay.
All right,
Continue.
we're good.
All
We're good.
right, just let
Gabby's back, everybody.
Whoopee.
All right, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves in the midst of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, having started a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever-growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus. And tonight, that's right, folks, get your trick arrows ready and have a holly jolly holiday. It's the Hawkeye Wrap-Up Podcast. Woo. I don't know why I said the word podcast in like a New England accent.
No idea.
Podcast. All right. Okay, so Gabby, you're here. Happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed.
Appreciate it.
All right, so I've actually been out the past couple episodes, so I'm just going to, before we get your thoughts, Gabby, I'm just going to jump here and say what I thought about the last two episodes. And honestly, guys, Hawkeye is a show where it started out, I was very lukewarm on it through the first few episodes, and I definitely feel this again. Like, I think the first few episodes are better than they were just doing it in binge mode, because that's what I've been trying to do when doing these wrap-up podcasts, and just watching the whole thing binge style. I tell you what, though, I still think there's noticeably like a big gap in quality with episodes 1 through 3, which are all fine and good. And episodes 4, 5, and 6, I genuinely think are some of the best Marvel Disney Plus stuff that we've gotten so far. I really think those 3 episodes were just a great build-up. I thought that episode 4 just had a really good building of the Hawkeye and Kate Bishop dynamic. Episode 5, of course, has the Yelena Kate Bishop scene, which I just, oh my God, I ate that up for Kate Bishop. So good. So that scene is so good. I honestly was like really sad to miss that episode for the reason that I didn't get to talk about that scene, and also because how good was not only the reveal of Kingpin, which we saw coming, but specifically that song choice, Dragon.
Oh yes, you're a mean one, Mr. Fisk.
And then, of course, episode 6, I've heard mixed reactions to episode 6, but for my money, I'm just going to say it. I think it's probably the best finale that we've gotten out of the Disney Plus shows so far. I really do. I think they really stuck to landing on it. I think, surprisingly, they were able to accomplish a lot, and even weave in some elements like the D&D guys that I wasn't crazy about earlier in the season.
LARPers, they're not D&D. D&D's the game with the dice.
Okay, the LARPing. Yeah, the LARPing. All right. And, even the Tracksuit Mafia, which I totally get the charm of them now. When the show first started, I was like, I am not intimidated by these guys. And then, obviously, by the end of the season, it's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be intimidated by them. They're basically the starting event. They're not the big bad. So, I don't know. I feel like this is a season where it took a while for all the ingredients to come together, but once they did, I was very satisfied with the end result. Vera Farmiga, I'm not going to lie, Dragon, I love her, but I still think she's kind of the weak link on the rewatch. I really do. That being said, Tony frickin' Dalton is amazing. I really like Jack Duquesne. Definitely came alive on a rewatch for me. I love his character. I hope he comes back. The sword stuff is just so good in the finale. All right, so let's see. Donovan Martin's in the chat. Hey there, Donovan. He says, I actually like the finale. Florence and Haley are amazing together. Such great chemistry. I mean, honestly, I freaking think that Florence Pugh would have chemistry with a paper bag and it'd be magnetic. Honestly, Florence Pugh is a freaking goddess. But
Florence Pew Pew.
pew pew. Jack is too pure. I can't wait for Moon Knight. Do you think we have a possibility to see Jack in Moon Knight?
I doubt that very much.
I don't know. What I like about Jack Duquesne as a character, like coming off of this, is the fact that he basically feels like kind of like Mr. Incredible mixed with Zorro.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah. All right, Gabby, I'm going to throw it to you since Dragon's had a chance to talk about all 6 of these episodes. What do you think of Hawkeye just as a whole?
So looking out perspectively, because I know with what I have to add to it is going to be something that's a little bit more of a critique, having my background and everything. But looking outside of it, I actually really liked it. I felt that it was inclusive. I was so happy that they finally touched on Hawkeye's freaking hard of hearing, deafness, because I was like, he has been deaf in the comics, and when we first saw him in the Marvel universe and he's just sitting there chilling, I'm like, I'm sorry, did we just erase the identity of a whole ass Marvel character? I'm sorry, what? So I was really happy that they finally touched on this topic. Looking in a little bit more, the things that I had a couple issues with was the way that they touched on Maya's deafness. To start, when they first introduced us to Maya's world and how she couldn't go to a deaf school, that really messed me up. Because if you look at our existence, our world, our nation, whatever, it is hearing based. Everything we do and everything that our society is built on is for the abled bodies. It's for hearing people. It's for people who can walk. It's for people who have all their arms and legs and limbs. So it feels like, or it felt like, when her dad said, oh, well, you can't really go to a deaf school because you need to be immersed in both worlds. In reality, with how the deaf are, they are immersed in the hearing world every day, because that's what our society is built on, is the hearing community. So the ideology that they were kind of like, you know what, we're going to put you in a hearing school so that you could be immersed with hearing people and have both worlds. And then she grew up being this signing like master. Statistically, in the real world outside of Marvel, kids who are mainstreamed in the hearing world, they actually lack a lot of ASL skills because they don't have that deaf bonding connection. Now, mind you, this isn't for everybody. There's a lot of deaf kids and deaf adults that were mainstreamed, and they still got that ASL interaction so that they could still be able to have their language. But a majority of the time, or statistically, when you are mainstreamed in a hearing school, there's a disconnect with the language because you're essentially learning from an interpreter. And interpreters are not teachers. They're just people or professionals who have been certified to relay one language into the other. So that was one of my critiques. It's actually statistically better to put a deaf child in a deaf school, so that way they have a language foundation, and then you can teach them English or Spanish or any other language. But having that visual language is what's best for deaf kids. So that was my first nitpicky thing. The second nitpicky thing I had was when they had those scenes with Maya signing, it was so close up to her face, so you couldn't really see the signing. You could see some of it, but what they ended up doing instead was they're showing her face, and they're kind of showing that she's kind of signing, but then they put closed captioning under it, so you can see the concept of what she's signing, but you can't actually see all of her signs. It's not clear. So that was a little frustrating too. It's like, okay, I love that we're being inclusive. I love that we have these aspects, but we're still leaving portions of it out. So that also kind of did bug me too. Now, mind you, I understand that these could be seen as nitpicky things, but I think it's also kind of important because this is my background. This is what I'm in. I am part of deaf culture. I'm part of whatever. Not only am I studying it, but I have friends that are deaf. I myself am hard of hearing. Like, this is my life. So from an outsider perspective, it's kind of like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, they're being so inclusive. Oh, this is great. But then there's also those pieces like, well, it is great. It is a step in the right direction. There's just certain things that they could have done that would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that makes any sense.
Gabby, I definitely want to touch on, like, I can't personally relate to what you're talking about because, I'm obviously, but I can relate to it from a meta context of whenever I see autism representation done poorly, I will get nitpicky as hell about that. Mm-hmm. So, especially if it's an actor who's not actually autistic, I'm just like, what are you doing, guys? There's plenty of autistic actors out there. Come on, like they actually have the shared life experience. Come on now.
And that's exactly how I feel as well.
Right.
Because you will have these movies or whatever that do portray deafness or deaf culture, but then you end up finding out that half of the cast is hearing,
right?
And totally. They learned sign on the set, and I was like, but there's a lot of deaf actors that do know how to sign and that are amazing actors. I'm like, we had so many people you could have picked from. Why did you pick this? I was happy to hear though that Maya, I looked it up. I was very happy to see that Maya
Cox. She's deaf and an amputee in real life.
Right. Yes. So I was like, okay, so that's wicked inclusive. Like, good for them, good on that. I was like, that's really cool. But outside of the nitpicky stuff, I was glad that they were able to still be inclusive or bring it in. It's kind of, like I said, it's a step in the right direction. I'm hoping for future reference that it will be a little bit better, especially if we do have people that make comments on the nitpicky things.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm sure we'll touch on that moving forward. But I'm excited to get your opinions on some of the actual Hawkeye stuff. But
yeah, understood.
We'll get to that in due time. I don't mean to diminish all your points, of course. Like I said, like we all kind of have that community that we're involved in. Obviously, for me, autism representation is the horse that I lie on. But
right.
All right, so Dragon, of course you've talked about these episodes to death, so why don't you give us just a quick kind of like summation of your thoughts on the show?
I mean, overall, now having gotten all 6 episodes, I think yet again another successful Disney Plus series for the MCU. Perfect way to celebrate the holiday, with the holiday setting, which obviously paired very well with Spider-Man: No Way Home.
There are some weird parallels. Like, I really wanted there to be like some sort of fucking Easter egg of Spider-Man swinging around Rockefeller Center, or maybe like Hawkeye in Rockefeller Center during the swinging. But
that's the thing. Remember, he does swing past Rockefeller Center.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying. I mean, it's like, we get Rockefeller Center, we get Rogers the musical. So it's like there's definitely a lot of connective tissue there for sure.
Of course. So yeah, I think the show earned points with the people not impressed by Hawkeye over the years. I like to think of the bare minimum. People have been like really dismissive or making all the Hawkeye jokes, like even Deadpool. Like, look at Deadpool.
Literally, the most interesting time that we've ever seen Hawkeye was when he was just chilling on a farm with his family.
That's kind of true, though. I'm not gonna lie. I was never really like invested in Hawkeye. He was just kind of like, okay, cool, Jeremy Renner. That's
I really like his intro with Thor. I really thought that was a good kind of like a good taste of him. I
feel like we really got a good idea of who he was in this show, though, and I'm glad that we did, though, because I feel like we never really got much of like an immersion in who Hawkeye was. I feel like I know so much about the other Avenger characters. And with him, it felt like it was always just kind of lacking in a way.
Well, Hawkeye always paired well with MCU characters, between him and Black Widow and him and Scarlet Witch, and and then of course, when we introduce him to something like Thor, it's like we've kind of found cool ways to include him, but not really, kind of put the spotlight on him, because he's always like, we have like, okay, Hawkeye's cool, but he's easily overshadowed by the rest of the Avengers. That's kind of where Hawkeye's kind of languished over the years, unfortunately. So again, I think this has been found the proper showcase in adapting the really great comic that that also brought Hawkeye back into prominence on the page as well. So that was a good call. So I think I'm thinking back, I think the most scathing, hilarious insult I ever heard against Hawkeye was in Deadpool 2. It was when Deadpool's in the prison cell and he has like the power dampening collar on him, the control collar. And he says, with this collar on, I'm basically Hawkeye with cancer. He's pretty much just Hawkeye.
Oh, God.
Poor Hawkeye.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I've always felt bad for Hawkeye because, again, it's a really cool character. Obviously cooler on the page in an animation where we've usually seen him elsewhere, but still, like, the MCU, they presented a good Hawkeye. Just we've never drawn focus to him like we do now. So I think he's earned a lot of points there with people saying, man, I was wrong about Hawkeye all these years. Maybe there's more of this guy than I thought. So it's kind of funny, though, looking back on the show, it's sort of like, I've noticed, looking at the Netflix series versus the Disney Plus series, they really could have swapped their numbers of episodes, where, I think people are having such a good time with the Hawkeye show. It's like we really could have benefited from
this
more
really
episodes.
Could have gone on a couple more episodes, especially with the Kingpin stuff.
They could have expanded it. Especially with the Kingpin stuff. I feel like they really could have expanded it more, because I kind of feel like once we got there, even though they were able to include everything in the last episode, I feel like it went quick. Like, it was really fast. It's like, okay, here, let's just drop this information on you now. Let's go.
Yeah. But, honestly, I think it's less Kingpin. I think more we could have dedicated more time to Eleanor. I think it's where we really should have spent that time in terms of that. But regardless, it's kind of, though, if you gave it episodes, it would have to be 12, so you could still do like the 12 Days of Christmas thing. Otherwise, you kind of need the 6 episodes for your countdown. That's the thing. If you give too many episodes, then it's like, well, it has to be kind of a Christmassy number, or it has to be like kind of closer to like, will we get home?
I really don't see why you couldn't just do 8.
At least.
I think 12 is pushing it.
Well, I'm just saying for the synergy of it all, Tiki.
I know.
Just feels like 8 is like, okay, well, it's just kind of random. It's going to be 8 days till Christmas, but it's anyway.
Dragon, not every episode has to be a day, okay?
Well, I'm just saying, but the whole thing that they're going to air it and it's going to be done by Christmas and it's set in December.
Right.
Anyway, so my point is, on the rewatch, I did notice some problems, like some wrinkles I didn't before that kind of bothered me, and I am, for example, I've grown very concerned now after Hawkeye, after we've gotten at least 4, technically after we've gotten roughly 5 shows, but 4 that follow this pattern of the Disney Plus MCU series leaning on the mystery component as the hook of like, well, we got to make sure people stick around, so we got the watch, which had no payoff really whatsoever outside of who the watch belongs to. Like, why did we want the watch? Does the watch do anything special? None of these answers. None of these are answered, so a little bit of that, and there are a few other things, mainly with kind of the Farmiga of it all, not with her performance at all, mind you, but just kind of like, I did notice something which we'll get to, but all of this leaves me again. I still was very satisfied with the show, and I am hoping for a season 2, with possibly led more on the Kate Bishop side of things. So I'm down.
I actually do like what Donovan is throwing out about 7 episodes, because if you did 7 episodes, then Dragon, you get your wish in terms of like you could do one day of every
week before Christmas.
One
there
episode
you go.
For every day of the week.
Sure, one more episode. Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in all fairness, I do think that if we had one more episode, we could have one more episode of Kingpin, one more episode, to tie up the loose ends in the finale. So,
all right,
agreed.
Right.
Donovan also says the mystery component works for certain shows, aka WandaVision and Loki.
Oh, okay. To be fair, I think WandaVision,
and then it flops for other shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which really should not have had a mystery component to it.
Yeah, I agree. Why did it? That did not make any sense to me. But continue.
Well, the problem. Well, the problem with Falcon Winter Soldier is that we don't really have a good resolution as to why that mystery unfolded. So that's the problem there. I mean, Loki and WandaVision, sure, only WandaVision. To be fair, actually, WandaVision's mystery not so much. Let's be honest. Loki actually had a point with their mystery. WandaVision was more so.
I do not know why people still shit on WandaVision's ending. I think thematically it was
No,
about
not the
as
ending,
good
just
as
the
it could have
mystery.
been.
The ending's fine. I'm talking the mystery, the whole Ralph Boner of it all.
Okay, sure, the Ralph Boner.
That's what I mean. I don't
right.
mind that. I mean, the Agatha thing's fine. I'm just saying the Ralph Boner thing is like, that's not really a good mystery with a payoff.
Yeah, you're right. That isn't.
So,
The Ralph Boner thing is like such a non-factor that I've honestly kind of phased it out of my memory at this point.
That's what I'm saying. It just feels like 4 shows in a row. It's like, believe me, Disney, people are going to watch the shows. All right, you don't need to add an extra hook in there. We've got to make sure they watch and they talk about it at the water because people are going to talk about it.
You know what it is? It's like kind of like J.J. Abrams' mystery box storytelling.
Sure.
All right. So we ready to get into some episodes?
I think so.
Alrighty. Let's go to episode 1, Never Meet Your Heroes.
This is directed by Rhys Thomas. So we have 2 directors between these 6 episodes. We got Rhys Thomas.
All right.
So this is the fun build up to Kate and Clint's stories colliding, which is kind of nice structurally. The opening, of course, I'm head over heels for it. I love the whole.
I think the opening is like by far the best scene in this episode, honestly.
Love Kate Bishop's origin in the thick of the incident from 2012, and of course,
Dragon on rewatch. I'm still not a fan of the. I will do the voice one more time for prosperity.
Don't do the voice. Don't do the.
Look at me. I'm Kate Bishop. I'm gonna show off just because I can because I'm Kate Bishop.
She lost the bet. No one's gonna care about that tower.
But I'm going to be cocky about it because I'm Kate Bishop and I suddenly have a random British accent. Right. I'm done.
Anyway, okay. To rein it back in to an actual point.
Dragon, I don't think it's a good introduction for a character that I grow to love through the season. I'll put it that way. I just think it paints her as a little too cocky. And I feel like kind of the whole point of the season is sort of like not bringing her down a peg per se, but kind of like making her realize that the world is more dangerous than she might have expected.
It's to kill her being naive.
Right,
is essentially what it is. It's not necessarily putting her down. It's more so because she is kind of sitting on this high horse. And it's kind of like, look, lady, this is way more serious than what you think it is.
Than just like, look at me, I can fire a fucking arrow through a bell tower. Ooh.
Right. And honestly, in the beginning, it took me a bit to even like her because it was just, she was a lot. I was like, this bitch has the audacity to be this much. Like, take it off.
Gabby, I was with you until episode 4. Episode 4 was, I think, the big Kate Bishop rehabilitation episode.
Yeah, it's really, I want to say it was definitely episode 4 when I was kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a step back here. Maybe she's not as bad as I think. But it did take me a little bit to like her character because I was like, she is just way too much. I'm like, she's clearly needs to calm down.
So Gabby, Dragon and I have a clear bias with not just one, but 2 of our red herring kind of villain characters. Dragon, can you explain that?
Well, yes. So we, of course, we adore. We built the Church of Vera Farmiga. Let's be honest.
I mean, practically we did. Honestly, I would like to say we contributed to the internet loving Vera Farmiga these days. I really do.
We worship that.
We were on the hype train for Vera Farmiga before the Conjuring movies, I think.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so regardless, we adore Vera Farmiga. So the fact that, oh my God, we've put Vera Farmiga in the MCU, that's so great. And not only her. We also adore the show Better Call Saul, and in recent seasons, they've introduced this wonderful actor playing this great character of Lalo Salamanca. That actor is the great Tony Dalton.
Yeah, and Tony Dalton, I mean, just like, he is terrifying on Better Call Saul, but he's also charming. And I feel like his character in Hawkeye is just like strip away the terrifying for like kind of a layer of like sort of like midlife crisis patheticness. But he's also still charming. He's also still got the charm.
Yeah, so ultimately what they've done here with the casting is, they're kind of leaning into their iconic traits and roles in which you have like the loving mother with a shady side, and then you
Dragon,
have,
I want fucking Lalo to use a sword in the final season, Dragon.
Well, he could get a machete.
I want that now. Oh my god.
It's possible.
Can you imagine? Oh, Jesus.
I mean,
Christ.
Tuco does brandish a Bowie knife. It's possible, giant bladed weapons that the cartels use those. Regardless, so that's what I'm saying. So you have like leaning into that side for Farmiga, and Tony Dalton's side again. You have basically like the same thing, the intensity and the charm that he plays with Lalo. Only we're leaning into it. Like, okay, so he was actually a really cool guy in the end. It's like
right. Yeah.
We'll never have with Better Call Saul.
All he wanted to do was make his tacos, Dragon.
That's what I'm saying. We're not going to be that lucky on Better Call Saul. Like, no, he's actually. Folks, he's actually going to be like really scary, okay? Because he's already scary enough. He's already been scary enough, and we haven't even seen him. We haven't really seen him until the end of season 5. We didn't see him do anything like.
I mean, to be fair, even the end of season 5, he killed some folks, but we haven't really seen him full-fledged against people that we actually like.
Exactly, because
and that's the scary part going into the final season.
Because we built him up, like he kills that poor travel wire kid like off screen, but that's what I'm saying. Though. Anyway, so getting back, let me rewind a bit here. So, just want to get this in there. So I love that having seen all the stuff now knowing we're definitely playing in some old familiar sandboxes. I love that. Making Hawkeye a street-level show like the Marvel Netflix shows, only this time we have access to the toys and the money and the budget and everything here. I love that we mirror how the incident was a huge story jumping off point for the story. It really got the ball rolling in Daredevil, much like we're doing here with the Kate Bishop story, where Daredevil and Foggy Nelson get their office because of the direct aftermath of the incident, and the Kingpin rises to power because of the incident. And here, Kate Bishop, she loses her father, and she is saved by her mentor. So I love that we're tying these huge events in the aftermath of such things, which also is what the MCU Spider-Man has really built a business on, and living in the aftermath of these massive MCU events. So I'm loving that. So that really did it for me too, especially on the real. It's like, yeah, this just feels all nice and familiar, and also tied into the Avengers Hawkeye money shot. He does like the leap. That's the moment when she knew.
That was really cool. Just kind of like coming around full circle with that moment. Like that's the moment that everyone's going to remember Hawkeye for.
Also, something we didn't really talk about when we covered this. The animated opening, they pulled the art from the book, the David Aja style, and they kind of made it like we see Kate Bishop, kind of becoming the prodigy that she is in that little montage in animated form for the opening.
Right.
Which is nice. All right, let's see. So, should we talk about the Rogers the Musical and the Christmas setting of it all?
I mean, Rogers the Musical is just such a goddamn good idea that I actually want it to be a Broadway show, man. I really do.
Do you really, though? Because it's really cheesy. I mean, that's the fun of it, Mike.
It's cheesy, but that's the point.
That was
the point. I would embrace the cheese.
Could you really sit through the whole thing being cheesy?
All right, you know what? I'm going to change my tune, Dragon. How about a half-hour show at Avengers Campus?
Well, there you go.
Take it they have the Hyperion Theater right next door to Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyways, there we go.
Yeah,
let's do that.
How did you feel about Rogers the Musical?
That was, oh my gosh, that was so bad. It was so bad. When I was watching it, I was like,
a fun bad, right?
I was like, please tell me this is not going to last long, and because I can't keep watching this.
Well, you saw how pained Hawkeye was.
And him just staring at the characters. He's like, and I was so happy that all of a sudden the kid's like, Dad, did you turn off your hearing aids? Like, what? Not fine.
Yeah.
See, what I really love about it...
So you're not a musical theater fan, Gabby?
No, I do like musical theater. It's just that was terrible.
Just not so much, I can do this all day.
No, that was so bad.
That song is pretty much just like the most generic, like hero power ballad.
Yes, it absolutely was. And not to be on Dragon's side of much of anything, but did you see how they did Chris Evans dirty? Yeah. Did you see who played freaking Captain America? Who the hell was that? He did not even compare to Chris Evans. Like, what?
Well, for me, it was more like none of the
Well,
costumes.
to be fair, have you seen some of the dudes that they get for Captain America in the parks?
Yes, and it is disgusting. Good for the bros for being able to play, but it's not Chris Evans, and that's what hurts.
Well,
although I will say, zombie Captain America in the parks is a different story. That is incredible. I don't care if it looks like Chris Evans at all.
Well, for me, the gag is like they cheaped out. They weren't so big on the production, but they cheaped out on the costumes so much. That's the thing that gets me with that.
Yeah, I agree. They did. They could have done better. But anyways, go on.
Okay, well, the whole thing with the just speaking as the Broadway nerd in the room here. The whole thing with the costumes, just in general, was that they were kind of meant to be minimalist. It is kind of like a Broadway style.
No, I get that.
Well, basically, shoddy quality because we're Broadway. Okay.
It's that the costumes.
No, it's basically bad Lion King, if that makes sense.
The costumes weren't the issue. I was okay with it. It was just the fact that it's just a bunch of I don't know, noodle-armed people saying, "Oh, I'm the Avengers." I'm like, Chris Evans is not noodle-armed. Who is this man?
All right. So, but ultimately, what I really like about it, though, just in general, Rogers the Musical as a concept, I love bringing the MCU into our world. Like ever since we did the propaganda montage from First Avengers, honestly, Iron Man as a concept is the fact of so it's like a real guy, and we're seeing the real media response to him, like revealing he's a superhero. And ultimately, what we do with all this sort of stuff, and we give him the product placements and the action figures and the fact they have ice cream flavors named after them. It's the fact that it brings it back to where it comes from in the first place, where it's. Why set Marvel in New York City? Because it's a real place, and it kind of adds that level to it. So we've kind of inverted that and kind of put it in the movies and in our series, which is really it's really cool. And it makes sense that in the Hamilton craze of today, Captain America, who's no longer around, there'd be something to cash in on there, and plus a little bit of Turn Off the Dark and a Spider-Man influence there, basically doing a 9/11 musical about the incident, essentially.
Kind of.
Would Tony Stark be the Aaron Burr to the Steve Rogers Alexander Hamilton?
Well, that's the thing. They cover the whole lifespan of Cap, and the instance they stage in that, so they would go to that probably during the Civil War split of it all.
That's such a great point, though, Tiki. I never even thought about it like that.
To be fair, I don't think the show is meant to be like a 1-for-1 of Hamilton, but
no, understood. But still, it's a good point.
If it was, then the songs will be better.
Yeah.
Here's the real question: how does Rogers the Musical end? Because they don't know what happened to Cap publicly. That's the real question.
That's actually a really good question, Dragon.
Yeah. Because some people think he's on the moon. He may or may not be, technically.
Maybe they can throw that in there. Maybe they can sing about how maybe he's on the moon. Maybe he's dead. Who knows? Next question.
All right, here's what I want to see. Okay, as a short film, I want to see a Falcon and I want to see Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes given tickets, and they kind of obligated to show up and watch this thing. That's what I.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Feel forced to watch this thing like the
both of them would hate it in different ways.
That's what I'm saying. I just love to see that. They'd probably give like a really ridiculous looking bird costume to the actor playing.
Oh my god, dude!
And they do it like the Ember Island players from Avatar. Tiki. That's what they do. They give Bucky a giant ridiculous wig. When it's the Winter Soldier, like a rock concert wig or something.
Oh my god!
Anyway, okay, sorry. Getting back with the Christmas setting of it all, though, the whole Christmas thing is designed to put Clint trying to make up for lost time with his kids on full display with the most kind of family-based holiday, second to Thanksgiving, possibly. The family kind of, basically putting that on center stage, and it feels really natural to kind of do that. And of course, just by the time everything got kind of switched around, okay, we'll save Hawkeye for Christmas regardless, so it's going to come out all time upright, all kind of work out nicely. Plus the Die Hard vibes, and of course Iron Man 3, very much in kind of the Lethal Weapon kind of action movie Christmas setting. So it all.
You know what? It is kind of a shame that they didn't get Shane Black in to direct one of these episodes.
Would have been interesting for sure.
I would have loved that, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so Hawkeye's Survivor Guild. This was an interesting thing to explore. You know, it's such a rarely explored topic. It's usually PTSD, so rarely is it like the Survivors Guild. And I love that.
But I mean, it makes all the sense in the world with what happened to Natasha, though.
It does, and I like that it's also kind of like a meta thing. It's kind of an answer to people like in the audience saying, "He should have died. Why kill Black Widow? It should have been reversed." And it's like, yeah, he agrees with
the
you, folks.
cis white male lived once again. Hollywood. Meanwhile, Tony Stark is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That scene where oh my gosh, and she's just like crying and he's like, me too. And I was like, damn, we all felt that. I was like, oh my gosh, because nobody wanted Black Widow to die. Not many anyways. So just hearing it from her sister of like just the aches and the pain, I'm like, oh my gosh, this sucks. This is a hard position to be in.
Anyway, so overall with the arc of Hawkeye through the show with this, I really like, you know, we see the reluctant celebrity of Hawkeye, and I love to think that he doesn't think he deserves any celebrity treatment. Just in general, because he's a humble guy, because he's used to being in the shadows, but also, you know, like he's no Tony Stark. He doesn't deal with the media well, but primarily, you know, his acts as Ronin have really weighed on him. He's trying to kind of table that thought so he can reconnect with his family and get past that. But just in general, it's like, you know, it's the play is like just a reminder of the simpler times in the old days, and Natasha, everything he lost back when things were nice and simple compared to Endgame, where it's been all complicated and muddy and like a true war that he's been through, and the hearing loss being kind of a symbol of that. And I think ultimately, and Gabby, you can tell me what you think about this by all means. I think with his hearing loss, there's definitely a fear of losing a part of his ability to connect with his family, and the symbol of it being it's all the damage he's gotten by picking, you know, by choosing, you know, heroism over being a father at times. So it's really, I think there's some guilt and fear with the hearing loss.
Great question. I think society in general, there is a fear of hearing loss, especially if you don't know much about hearing loss, or if you don't know anything about being deaf.
For someone who's kind of on the outside of it, Gabby, I don't know if you got around to seeing this movie, but that's why I thought The Sound of Metal was such an invaluable movie from that perspective.
Oh, I did. I actually did watch that movie.
It literally just it puts you right there.
It does, and that one of the things I love about that movie was the fact that it does show you. It shows you the outside perspective, and then it shows you the inside perspective. So in the concept or the outside perspective is CDC tells you that hearing loss is a disability. It's a problem. It's an issue. It means you're not normal. It means you're not perfect in our society. You don't fit. So I think there could absolutely be a component of him having his hearing loss or him losing his hearing is kind of like there's potentially a disconnect. But at the same time, when you watch throughout the series, he doesn't make it a thing of like, oh, poor me, I'm losing my hair. What, you know, and even with his kids, they're not like that either. Everyone just kind of chill with it. Everyone's kind of like, okay, dad wears his hearing aids. Dad takes out his hearing aids. He can't hear you, you know, talk directly to him, you know, things like that. I'm
going through that with my grandma, and it's honestly not a big deal.
I think the way that we show the loss of hearing is like it's this big scary thing because I'll never get to hear a bird chirp again, or I'll never hear the door slam ever again. And people have this idea or this misconception that deaf people don't listen to music, deaf people don't go to concerts, deaf people don't do everything that hearing people do, but it's not even remotely true. I mean, there's a lot of deaf people that listen to music at like 85 and you're able to go with the flow. You're able to hear the beats. You're able to feel it. And then you can look up the lyrics. And one of the things I really liked about the way that they portrayed him being hard of hearing was it wasn't this big thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It was just part of him. It was just part of who he was.
They didn't call attention to it. They didn't try and make it like a big message. Yeah, it was just kind of there. Yeah. Really well said. Really well said. Yeah.
That is the kind of stuff that would be more appreciated in our society or in media is if we stopped making the loss of hearing a big deal, because it's like it's kind of life, you know. And I mean, years ago we had a point where Martha's Vineyard was a majority of deaf people, and it was the deaf and the hearing all learned sign language, and they all were just vibing. They're all just getting along.
For sure.
Okay, so the transition. So basically, we have the black market auction, which kind of gets the ball rolling on things with the Ronin suit coming into play, and Clint basically facing his demons by proxy of Ronin's resurgence, and he's got to kind of extinguish this so he can move on and rededicate himself to his family, which obviously puts him on a collision course with Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop. All right.
Kate Bishop. See, why can't you do that voice instead of the dumb one from earlier?
All right. Episode 2, Hide and Seek. This is my least favorite episode of the series.
Yeah,
I just don't jive with it, man. I don't jive with I think the LARPers get their time in the sun in the finale. I do. I like the payoff. I just think a little too much time is spent on them, and I'm sorry, like, even on a rewatch, this feels like an Iron Fist subplot.
Oh, come on. That's still
it really does.
Insulting. It's not that bad. Come on.
It seems like the sort of ridiculous bullshit that would pad out a Marvel Netflix show.
It's not an AA meeting. It's not that bad.
The only difference here is that they actually go on to, to do valuable shit in the series. But, like, even so, that doesn't make the introduction not annoying.
I mean, look, upon a rewatch, what I'm really getting from the LARPers, and I could be crazy here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Gabs can tell me if I should be committed in the loony bin or not. I don't know. It's just, with the LARPers, I think it's kind of playing the Clint's arc of, Clint coming around on heroism as...
No, that's absolutely what it's doing, for sure, and I think it does it well. The only thing I'm saying is that I think it gets introduced in kind of a clunky way. Gabby, how do you feel?
Oh my god, why are we throwing me in this? No, you guys can...
Because you're the person who hasn't voiced your opinion on the LARPers yet.
I don't really know how I feel about the LARPers. I feel like it was something... I don't know if it was... Okay. I don't know if it was as important to the plot of the show. I did not like the LARPers. So
and that guy, you know what? Just to get you back on my side. All right, it's not as bad as Iron Fist. It's like, let's call it like a mediocre Jessica Jones plotline.
Here's the issue I had also with the LARPers. It was kind of like, I understand that they needed, okay, we need the police person. Okay, we need this, we need that. But it was just like, okay, let's just throw in a random ass part because we're going to use these people later. I'm like, you could have used these people in a way different. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I really didn't like them. I'm like, what the frig is this? What is this? And I especially felt for Hawkeye.
Vindication.
It's true. And I felt for Hawkeye because he was like, look, I just need to get the fuck out of here. And they're like, sorry.
But he was showing respect to the FDNY guys. I don't want to.
He did show respect, but he was also still like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I have to go through all of this shit to be. And then no. And then
he's
he's
reluctantly having fun, though.
I know, but
I wasn't having fun as a viewer, though. I wasn't, and Gabby wasn't. So.
I really wasn't. I
couldn't. He took on Thanos. He did with guys in the park.
I did not. I did not like, and I also didn't like when Grills was like, okay, dude, you got, just. Let me kill you, whatever, it'll make my dreams. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, yeah, no, please let me. And I'm like, no, don't let him do it.
What if he
Save your dignity. Save your dignity. I had such a hard time with the LARPers. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't support the LARPers.
Fine. Away from the LARPers. I just want to say this. I think a big takeaway from the episode for the whole, Kate and Clint thing and like the infancy of their bonding, because it kind of starts off as it was a kind of a reluctant team up for Hawkeye, and it was, it was all business. I'm going to protect
And that's
her.
kind of my problem with this episode, just outside of the LARPers, is just I feel like the chemistry, obviously there's definitely like an arc for sure. And I'm not saying that the arc doesn't have purpose. I'm just saying, once again, the LARPers for me aren't fun to watch. And you know what else is fun to watch is Kate and Hawkeye just totally bitching at each other for 30 minutes.
Come on. They weren't that against each other at all.
But they kind of were. And she was like, oh, I'm your partner. I'm your partner. And he's like, you're not my partner. And it's like the tension was hard to watch. And it was hard to accept because, like, okay, Kate needs to calm down. Hawkeye needs to learn how to trust a little bit. I mean, I understand why he can't trust people. I mean, look at all the shit that he's in right now. But it was like the clashing of the heads was hard to watch because it was kind of like, okay, this isn't getting anywhere. You either are going to work together or you're not.
Fun dynamic. It was more so like just, all right, guys, like you're kind of just grinding the plot here.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, let me tell you what I like that we seeded in this episode. I really like that we seed in like her basically kind of the mission statement of the show here, which is like, it's not about the merchandise or the media attention. It's about like what am I selling? It's not the merchandise or the media. It's inspiration. Inspiring people. We need less kind of cynical, it's kind of like cloak and dagger stuff. We need earnest sincerity these days. And I think ultimately what they're kind of alluding to. I might be reaching. I think they're alluding to we're gonna temper down kind of the weed in the origins of the MCU, and we're gonna kind of go forward in Phase 4 something a little bit more kind of sincere and earnest. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she's kind of seeding that in there for when they do bond. It's kind of been seeded in episode 2, and it kind of grows over time, particularly once they have like their really big bonding car chase in 3.
Right.
Oh yeah, here's something I want to call it. Here's a hole I did have in the episode.
Oh God, okay.
Okay, so this barely pays off at all. It's completely useless. I believe this guy was in the comic, and I think it's the only reason he's in here. Detective Caudle, I believe is his name, if I'm saying that. The guy who just randomly calls Kate like, "Hey, listen, I had an apartment fire. I want to talk to you," and the only payoff this guy has, okay, so he's the detective that arrests Jack later on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
I feel like he was just inserted there just strictly for artificial tension and nothing else.
But on the rewatch, when you watch all 6 together, think about this, okay? So it's like, calls her in episode 2, hey, tomorrow morning I want to talk with you. Okay, tomorrow, but no, we don't hear from him at all until
Dragon. You know what it'd be like? It'd be like if Angela just never followed up with the Matt Bishop thing in the new Dexter season.
Yeah, exactly. Just
like, okay, Matt Bishop's fine.
Wait, do you mean Matt Caldwell?
Yeah, Caldwell. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm thinking Matt Bishop.
Well,
is Matt Bishop a character?
No, Tiki, Matt Bishop's not a character.
Are you sure?
Tiki,
I don't know where I pulled that name from.
Okay, I'm very sure because Kate Bishop's.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
There's a lot of bishops in this, Tiki, but
right.
There's a Derek Bishop. He's dead, but it's not that guy.
Kate Bishop, I found your brother, Matt Bishop.
It's actually Matt Murdock in disguise.
Right.
Matt Murdock's her new stepdad. All right, so.
Oh God!
Not even remotely how that works. By the way,
I would vibe with that, man. I would vibe with that.
It's not even remotely how that would work. But
I know.
Okay, point we see.
So can you imagine if somehow Matt Murdock got together with Eleanor?
Well, I mean, I love that, but I don't think we're.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, regardless. So they have the swords.
It's like he's Eleanor's lawyer, and they fall for each other.
God. Anyway. No, he'd never get past the whole Kingpin thing. It would never work.
Oh, I know.
All right. So I want to talk about the tracksuits for a second, okay? Just the tracksuit mafia.
Oh God, okay, Gabby, say your piece on the tracksuits, please.
I can't with the tracks. I mean,
what?
Because they were trying to throw in like funny pieces for the
I feel so vindicated.
So the tracks
they are funny. It's their whole thing. They're funny.
But it wasn't funny. It was forced funny, and it was like, okay, did you really have to like throw half the lines? Like okay, I know this is towards the end, obviously, but like when Kate sees the dude from the tracksuits, and he's like, "Oh, I just want to let you know that it worked, and I went to a Maroon 5 concert instead." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Okay, to be fair, I actually did find that funny.
That was a nice joke. That was a nice
I
joke.
did. I couldn't. I hate I hate the way that they joke. It was just not. It felt forced funny to me. A lot of it's comedy. A lot of comedy recently just feels like this forced fake ha ha ha, and it doesn't feel like the way that comedy should feel to me.
Blame that on the other funny things. This is actually how it's supposed to go.
I didn't like the tracksuits, Drag. I'm sorry, I didn't like them.
Right. I warmed up to the tracksuits, but I did not like them at first.
I mean, here's what I like about the tracksuits. Okay, what I like about them is the fact that they're really hung up on the mundane details of like Hawkeye insults the. By the way, this is something we never talked about in the show, but the fact that their hideout is an abandoned KB Toys, which is brilliant. Right. And by the way, not just brilliant because it's an obscure pool; it's a deep cut pool because KB Toys exclusively sold Toy Biz. Toys, which basically got Marvel out of their financial.
Dude, I fucking loved KB Toys as a kid. I really did.
Remember, Toy Biz is what got Marvel out of the red once they went bankrupt. That's how Avi Arad rose to power through Toy Biz and everything.
Oh God, it's Avi Arad, dude.
Seriously, that's how he rose to power. He rose to power through the toys, and then the X-Men.
Avi Arad is an eldritch horror.
He is very. he's quite fascinating when you think about it. He's kind of like he's the complex Feige, That's
like, what I'm saying, man.
Anyway, okay. So my point is, I like the fact that he hung up the insults the hideout. They get really offended by it, and they go out with they're putting coins in the thing. They're talking about relationship problems, and the bro thing was always just kind of funny. Like I don't know. I just always had a soft spot for the tracks, and I thought they were well.
Dragon, honestly, I think the tracksuits will play a lot better for me, like if I was familiar with them from the comics, because they do seem like they are pretty accurate pulls from the comic.
Yeah.
I think I could agree with you because I'm not really familiar with them in the comics, to be completely honest. But I've
never heard of them until the show. So
that's what I'm saying. They're from the direct book that they're pulling for the show.
I figured they were.
Well, obviously, No, yeah, for sure. I just at the same time, like I don't know.
That guy says Avi Arad is the dark anti-hero version.
Yes, he's the Venomized version of Feige.
I love that he's the anti-hero. He's kind of like Marvel's Michael Eisner in that way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, I'll co-sign that pool. Yeah, I'll co-sign that. Okay, anyway, so Hawkeye has a plan: meet with the tracksuits and explain that Ronin's gone because he was killed by Black Widow, which again, not untrue. But again. It's going to be hard to verify, so it might work in his favor until Kate crashes in her rescue attempt, which now leads to a problem. Like, oh no. And that brings us to episode 3.
Okay. You know what? Obviously, we get the Echo stuff in episode 3, and of course I remember, the Chuckle Dragon, the Chuckle.
Yes. I know that chuckle, man. That was at the end.
But I'm not gonna lie. Outside of the Kingpin origin stuff, I literally only remember the car chase in this episode, and I've watched it twice.
Yeah,
it's a really good car chase. It's a really good car chase.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, still, all the Echo, the opening is that's literally all the Echo origin stuff. That's great.
And I'm saying I remember the Echo origin stuff, and it was good.
Well, it's not a whole lot to the episode. It's just that, and then the car chase, and then you have the cliffhanger. So what's the miss? What'd you really miss?
What's the miss?
Okay, I don't know. I guess it just felt like a very. Like, it doesn't feel like the whole episode should just be the car chase.
No, that's valid. That makes sense.
But, I mean, it's a good car chase. It just, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, this is the episode when I started to kind of have, like, my nitpicky issues, because obviously...
Well, Gabby, there's something I wanted to correct you with your nitpick. I was waiting till we get here to do it.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is going to make it any better.
Explain her, Dragon.
What? I'm not going to
explain her.
Yeah.
I'm going to plot explain her, not def explain. Okay, Gabs. Now, again, I'm not saying this is a full-on cure-all here, but I think what they established now, whether it makes logical sense or not, I can't weigh in. But I can tell you what they said, the implication they gave, more accurately. is that the father could not. It's not that he chose not to send her to the schools; that he could not send her to school. Why? Beyond me. But that's what he said in that scene. I mean, you think he'd be making good enough money to do it. So when you think about that, that's when there's the hole. The hole then reappears. But it still just feels like he made a point. Like you saw the sadness in his face. He wanted to send her there, but he couldn't. Now I don't know if that's because he's in the infancy of his business venture. Maybe that's why. And by that time, he put a positive spin on it. That's the implication I always got. The implication we got when we talked about it. So I'm wondering, perhaps, like, did that not occur? Does that not make it better at all? Like, or what?
Well, are you talking about the fact? Are you saying that she couldn't be sent to a deaf school because of monetary issues?
I mean, look, I don't know anything about it. That's essentially that's the vibe that the episode put out there. That's the one thing that was not addressed in your opening thing there. So does that help or not?
No, because deaf schools, you don't pay for a deaf school. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some deaf residential schools that you do pay for. Don't get me wrong.
What about in the New York area?
However, no.
Okay.
So, no. And actually, New York is one of the biggest deaf centers. Washington, D.C. is the deaf mecca because of the Gallaudet University, okay, which is the only, it was the first and somewhat only deaf-centered college. That obviously is money because it's a college. However...
But she was a kid, so that's...
Right. New York is one of the biggest states that is centered for deaf people. It's actually why a lot of people move to New York who are deaf, because there are so many deaf people in New York and in New York City, and those schools do not cost money. So, no, unfortunately, that is not an argument.
Yeah, it's not great.
I'm sorry, Dragon.
Well, no, I learned something. I didn't know how it works. So there we go. All right. So yeah, it's unfortunately yet another hole, but still, it's regardless though. Nice. It does have a lovely dynamic with her father.
Oh well, plot hole.
I mean, and like I said, don't get me wrong. There are schools that are similar to like a private school, so they would cost money, but that's not everywhere.
All right. Well, regardless, what I love about the Echo origin stuff, which, by the way, Bert, this is when we started getting new directors on these. Basically, until the last episode, it's all new directors. It's Bert and Bertie, the duo that have directed the rest of these. And I think their style really, made the biggest impact on the series. I think they had a really great. I think things took an upgrade stylistically then. So,
should have been Shane Black. I'm just saying, he's got the Christmas action film market cornered, dude. Anyways.
You have a point.
All right, Dragon, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, regardless, I love how we framed the origin in a way that parallels Kate's very fascinatingly. Now, again, there's a problem that we don't really have any payoff between Kate and Echo, having much of a scene together.
No, we do not at all.
So that's a shame. But again, I don't know if that's them.
I don't really think we have a lot of payoff for the Echo and Kingpin stuff.
Well, that's not necessary. Well, we'll get there when we get there. My point is, no, seriously though, I don't know if they're playing the long game with perhaps Kate will show up in the Echo series, or if there's going to be a season.
Kingpin better fucking show up in the Echo series.
Not the Kingpin. I'm talking Kate.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm like, I will not watch
I'm
the
aware of
series
that.
if Vincent D'Onofrio is not involved, dude.
Not like anyway. So what I'm saying is, I don't know if they're going to do a season 2 of Hawkeye, and then they'll maybe give her more of a thing with Echo, or perhaps Kate will factor into the Echo series. So I don't know if there's playing that game with. But regardless, I like what they're setting up here. In that you see that she's instead of inspired by Hawkeye, she's traumatized by Ronin, killing her father, and also the fact that it's like in a different Avengers film too. Like, hey, during the 5-year gap, that's when her father got killed. Or it's like, hey, in the first Avengers movie, saved by Hawkeye. So that's really really cool, and something that kind of bonds them together and just kind of works kind of in the series' favor. It might have been better if they kind of shared a scene together, but still, pretty cool. And again, as to the diversity points, a Native American deaf character, and now again, addition for the show. Amputee, which is a really interesting combination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, again, I like that. Again, if we're bringing Daredevil back into the mix, using the Echo story is again as a way that it kind of brings in a new character as well, kind of a new layered character that also connects to the Kingpin. I like that as our jumping off point for reintroducing these in a new way. It's like everyone's thinking bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. Well, maybe we want to approach it from a different angle, then cross the bullseye bridge when we get there. Hopefully, when the actor's available. Anyway, so yeah, of course, raised by her uncle, the Kingpin. So let's see. So the car chase.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to say about it. It's super kinetic and fun.
Yeah, also,
obviously, stuff like the Pym arrow is really cool.
Yes,
Yes.
the Pym arrow. I love the Ant-Man runner throughout the series. That almost every episode has like an Ant-Man reference of some kind in it. And the fact that he and Scott Lang developed such a kind of an off the books friendship or a dynamic.
Totally. I want to see I want to see like just a short, like maybe like a 10-minute short, just establishing the Hawkeye and Scott Lang bond.
Because what'd be great. Okay, so here's your setup. Hawkeye picked him up and drove him all the way to Germany in Civil War. Maybe they developed a friendship on the way.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, but yeah, I mean the car chase again, adapted from the book, just switched around who's driving, who's firing the arrows, but for the better, honestly, because you just have this great setup of Hawkeye can't hear right now because the hearing aid's been damaged. We had Echo set up the really great line about the whole you need to hear in different ways, and of course that you need to communicate in different ways, which basically is what they're doing throughout this scene. It's a great setup in the fact that the arrows aren't labeled. We called it out, and it just led to all sorts of chaos. Like, dude, there are more dangerous arrows than that. There's the explosives, the acid arrow, the USB arrow, the money shot that she gets to do with her hero now. It's all wonderful. Leads to them doing some bonding, and we have that utterly heartbreaking scene where Clint can't hear his son on the phone, and Kate kind of translates and gets a sense of what she's holding him back from.
And that moment right there is when I started to like Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course, we have our cliffhanging misdirect, which brings us into the next episode.
Partners, am I right?
Yes.
Oh god, that is a real fucking cliffhanger misdirect, dude.
Yeah. The swordsman. Hawkeye's gonna fight
really
the swordsman.
funny.
Oh, wait, I know you. You're Archer.
Oh my god, dude. It's like they literally end the episode like he is going to go for Clint's throat, man.
Yep. With his own sword, which just adds even more bitter irony to it. I killed people with this sword,
all right,
man.
So episode 4 is legitimately the first great episode of the show, I think.
I
honestly, like I said, I feel like 1, 2, and 3 are basically just kind of like the building blocks of the first act of the story. And then 4, 5, 6 is just like all payoff, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, I love the opening scene with the family dinner. It's just so delightfully awkward.
Oh my gosh, that was insanely awkward. I was like watching it. I'm like, oh my gosh, when is this? Let's move on. Let's move on because this is so hard to sit in the awkward.
Gabby, I get the feeling that I appreciate cringe humor more than you do.
It's not that I don't necessarily appreciate it. It's more so the fact that it literally hurts my soul.
Yeah, that's kind of part of cringe humor.
And I'm like,
cringe humor's kind of masochistic, honestly.
It is, and it hurts. It's not that I necessarily like, oh, that shit is bullshit. Fuck this bullshit. No, it's not that. It's just that it's like it's hard for me to sit through.
Right on. I think the point of a lot of this episode is we're going to throw the suspicion off Eleanor and put it back onto Jack in a way, because it's that okay, we're seeing
really red herring.
Yep. Red herring.
Jack Duquesne is legitimately a really good red herring.
Well, of course. I'm just saying we use our usual running gag. Like, what is it, Jones? I'm watching Disney Plus.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
All right, can we get, like, outside of the pup named Scooby-Doo gag, all right? I get it.
Hey, it's your joke. Don't snap.
I know. I'm just saying, like in the context of what a red herring actually is.
He's a great red herring. He absolutely is a really good red herring. Sure, absolutely. So I love that. My favorite bit of this episode, one of my favorite bits of the episode with Jack, is I love how we see that Kate sees whether or not Jack's into some bad stuff, which obviously we know he's not now. It's the fact that she sees that Jack being a nice guy is well founded. It's like my mother does really care for this guy, and this guy is legitimately charming, and we
He
learn
is
he's being
just
framed.
freaking laying on the charm with Farmiga, man. I love it.
He gets all the old sayings wrong, which leads to the most Farmiga-esque line in the whole series.
Oh my God, say it, Dragon, say it.
Oh, honey, you're making my heart grow older.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
See, Gabby, this is why we build a church to this woman, because she delivers lines like that. This is why we worship at the altar of this lady.
Oh my gosh, that part. I mean, I was kind of bummed at the end when I found out that, Jack wasn't the issue, because I really wanted him to be the bad guy, because he had like the perfect bad guy-esque pieces to him because of his charm.
Literal mustache twirler.
I was so bummed. I was like, oh,
that's
this would
why he's
work
a good
so
red herring,
well.
though.
No,
He
it's
throws me off.
yes, it absolutely.
And the big misdirect being Swordsman, bad guy in the comic, but also kind of a bad guy with a bit of an arc, so that works too. So yeah, it's really
Mm-hmm.
So here's the plot issue I have. So one of the plot issues. Well, let me just bring up the two plot issues because they both kind of start in this episode. But I still love the episode, though. It's just two things that ultimately had the payoffs were a little iffy. That's just why they're kind of compromised here when they start. So the Watch, again, no real explanation as to why the Kingpin wanted it. It's and I heard something about the making of this show. I don't know. I can't verify this 100% from what I read. I don't know. They kept it on the hush hush what the original plan was, but it seems like the Kingpin was not factored in from the start of this show. The Kingpin was added in at a certain point. I'm not saying
I can believe it. Like, honestly, he seems pretty like
thrown in.
Yeah, like when he is on screen, it feels like reshoots, honestly.
And what happened?
I don't say that in a bad way. We'll get to him in episode 6. I do like him in episode 6.
And again, not bad, but here's the thing. I think what happens because of that is there possibly was a better Watch payoff, but now because we had the Kingpin in there, we can't really think of a reason why he would want that Watch. So it kind of languishes because of that. And here's the other thing. This one's actually more of an issue. Like any way slice it, I think this was always in the plan. Yelena. So Yelena is tracking Ronin. Now we learn, on the rewatch, I confirmed this. Yeah, Yelena has been tracking him since the first episode because she points out in episode 5 to Kate, like, I saw you save the dog. You made your points with me. The whole thing. So that was in episode 1, which means it wasn't just like after the whole elevator scene, like, I'm going to call in my Black Widow assassin to go get you. He's like, no, she's been on the case since the first episode.
I mean, I always got the impression that she was pretty much like she was going to do this assignment or not. It's like this was her mission.
It's just but see, here's the thing, though. This is the thing that bothers me with the fact we don't get more development with Eleanor. I don't know why she wants Hawkeye dead before he's even involved in the Kingpin business of it all. See, that's the thing that kind of makes me scratch my head after getting all the episodes. Like, wait a minute. I mean, she doesn't even know. Like, Hawkeye was just having Christmas with his family, and no one knew he was Ronin.
Yeah.
So there's that. Regardless, so it's the MVP scene of the episode. The Christmas party to cheer up an ice pack ridden Hawkeye. Delightful.
Oh my God, yeah. The ice packs, I had just gotten out of the hospital when I watched the episode, so I could totally relate to the ice
packs. Melly Kaliki Maka while one of the Christmas movies presented was Christmas Vacation. Very nice.
I love the fact that Kate Bishop went out of her way to like go rent the Christmas movies.
Yep.
That was the sweet. Oh my gosh, that was one of my favorite parts, and it also added.
So that's what I'm saying,
bonding.
Gabby. I was right. I was right there with you, not liking her in the first couple episodes, but she definitely did come around on me.
She's missing out on Christmas in the movie marathon with the kids, so she's trying to make
she's trying to make up for it because she knows at the same time that it's like, hey, now I'm kind of your problem because I kind of brought you into this, so let me make it up to you somehow. And I thought it was really sweet.
Because he's in this scene also. Gabs, how did you feel about the pizza dog?
Well, it's a dog, so I'm obviously okay with it, but I don't know. I really like that they brought in a dog. I don't know, it kind of added more hominess to it, You have two people that are like learning their way. They're kind of bonding with each other. Add a dog to it. I mean, how can you go wrong with a dog, Dragon? How
A
can
dog
you
is
go
a good
wrong with
bonding
dog?
exercise. I will
It
say
is.
that.
Yes, because it's kind of like we don't deserve animals. We don't deserve the dog.
Right.
So it's kind of nice that they're able to bond with each other with, the pizza dog. I absolutely love the pizza dog. I can't say anything wrong. I'm sorry. Or anything bad about him. I'm sorry.
So, well, I'm not looking for a takedown on the pizza though. I just want to know what
The pizza dog.
Dragon hates the dog.
I hate most dogs, but not that pizza dog.
Oh, you hate most. I don't know how we speak.
No,
I
I'm
like
kidding.
dogs. I'm just allergic to them, so they're not my pet of choice.
Oh,
I love fictional dogs though.
I love fictional dogs.
just fuck real dogs. Am I right?
Eddie from Frasier is delightful.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Okay, anyway, so of course, within the Christmas festivities, we have the sobering lesson on Ronin, in which he becomes in the know and summarizes why we need a new Hawkeye, or our Hawkeye. Little damage from his experiences. It's going to be hard to shake off that darkness. We need the chipper Kate Bishop to kind of like bring Hawkeye back, and again into that more, into the more sincere, earnest kind of direction we need going forward. So there's that. All right, so. Let's see, Grills and the LARPers, they come back, mainly for a very useful addressment. I love the mundane addressment of Hawkeye's big threat, much like Spider-Man with losing his webs. Hawkeye has a limit to his arrows. He can run out of arrows. What is a
Gabby,
Hawkeye to
settle
do?
the tie for this, because that's what you've been doing the whole time.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Do you
Don't make her work while she's here.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Do you enjoy the whole side quest of getting Hawkeye's arrows back, or did you think it was just kind of spinning wheels?
Okay. I don't like anything that has to do with the LARPers or grills or anything. So I did
Sorry,
not like
Dragon.
Why were you unsure of how you felt about the LARPers if you have this?
Because I was trying to be nice and not lay it on so thick.
The one time I actually liked the LARPers was in the finale, but other than that, I do agree with you.
The finale.
Look, it's not even about the LARPers. I just like the fact that we address, Hawkeye needs to get his arrows back. We never talk about
Look,
that.
I appreciate that we addressed it. I just don't like it. Just again, it kind of I'm not gonna say the Iron Fist thing again because it's not Iron Fist, but. But it still feels kind of in the Marvel Netflix vein of okay, we need to pad out 13 episodes. There's a plot point we can do for an episode or two.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was.
I understand the logic behind it. I just don't think it's that urgent of a plot point.
Yes, it's that. I understand the concept and the idea behind it, but it didn't feel necessary to actually add. I feel like we could have had something else in its place, but that would still make sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Just saying, basically anything where it's I feel like this could have been trimmed for more Kingpin.
Yeah, because I feel like with Kingpin, like I said, I really feel like they kind of just threw him in there and then just kind of stopped it.
Kingpin right now, because I'll take whatever Kingpin I get. I'll be grateful for it. Okay, I don't need more Kingpin.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm very satisfied with my Kingpin.
I feel like
we'll get there.
I feel like they could have had more. And honestly,
I agree.
Of course, we could have had more. We could have had more of everything.
We did not need more of how the freaking LARPers and grills got.
I agree. We did not need more.
We did not need more of that. We did not need that. That was just unnecessary filler to get to the next step. But I feel like we could have got to the next step without that plot.
Right. Anywho, so then we have a rooftop fight, which is a great. This show really did a really great job of the reintroduction,
just in general.
Well, yes.
Sure, I was leaning more towards the reintroduction, but yes, the action scenes were also good. As love, we have a great, again, as you and I were geeking out about, the perfect way to reintroduce Yelena. She's going to show up at the worst possible time. It's okay, we're Maya has a.
And it's I love how it's as soon as she shows up, it's exactly who she is, but you're still God damn it, take the helmet off. I want to see the pew and all their glory.
I know it's comics accurate, but we need some pew going on here, man.
All right.
All right. Okay. So also the shot.
I think Florence Pugh is officially my new Vera Farmiga.
Hey! Wait a minute.
No, but she is. I absolutely love her. I really do.
She is just insane talent, man. That's all I can say.
Yes.
She's
oh my god.
Talent.
She won me with Midsummer. That is where she completely. I absolutely adored her in Midsummer. I was like,
my sister fucking loved Midsummer.
Yeah, it was honestly, but it was her acting. That's kind of what brought me in. So I was so happy that they actually threw her into this episode. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, they're throwing her into the plot. Yes.
So before we just use the pew as a transition here, if I may, I really like that we had the whole like the best shot you ever took, which was the shot that she didn't take, which related to Black Widow, and that relates to our new Black Widow, who's going to be Kate's new bestie. And that brings us to episode 5. Ronin.
Alrighty, episode 5, Ronin.
Ronin.
Yes. So
I actually heard like this is kind of weird because I heard a leak title that this is going to be called Black Widow.
Oh.
Yeah,
which I honestly think would have been a slightly more appropriate title.
I don't know. It
just considering the emphasis on Yelena in the episode.
Yeah,
fair
no,
enough, Tiki, but the reason she's there is because of Ronin, though.
All right. Well, regardless, I do think this is probably my number 1 episode of the season.
Really?
I really like the finale, but I think this got the ball rolling in a lot of different directions. I think the scene between her and Kate Bishop is the best scene in the series, hands down, in my opinion.
No, I actually agree. I'm actually so surprised with this podcast, Tiki, because so far we've had very similar views and perspectives on this, because I absolutely agree. Episode 5 was my favorite, and it was.
I really like the finale too, but I just think episode 5 is like the best overall episode.
It absolutely was, and especially between Yelena and Kate, it was those parts that really made it.
Just every time Florence Pugh says Kate Bishop, I fucking melt, dude.
Oh my
Here's
gosh.
what I loved about
so
Florence
funny.
Pugh's performance. So I love in that scene. She's always kind of had this, especially if you rewatch Black Widow. But it just I keep going to the lines from this episode because it was so good. And it's very recent. I love how basically Florence Pugh is emulating David Harbour, Red Guardian. So
totally.
And it's so fun. You can see her as like, oh man, she's her father's child, and the whole like, my daddy says it's good for you, the mac and cheese. Like, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Pugh line from the whole thing. My daddy says it's good for you.
That mac and cheese part was, I absolutely loved that. It just, she's here sitting talking like deep shit while she's eating fucking mac and cheese. I'm like, I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
That's the great thing about the scene is that the dynamic between like she is saying uber threatening shit while being just absolutely cool as a cucumber.
I have no weapons. That's not true. I have no weapons in my hands right now. Well, that's
and cracking jokes at the same time too, and
the whole
not just like
thing.
MCU style like yuck comedy, like legitimate like kind of like defense mechanism style jokes that feel realistic in the moment.
Yes, not like the freaking tracksuits. This was comedy. What she said was good. I was like, I'm here for it.
All right. Regardless, that with Yelena's reintroduction as well. I mean,
I was thinking when I was thinking more with the comedy. I was thinking more the whole like the No Way Home. Like, what's your name again? Otto Octavius.
Yeah, that's not great. So the flashback to basically we get the answer to the thing. Everyone always bothered me. Everyone's saying, "Well, what happened to me? Why wasn't Yelena in Infinity War now? Because we backtracked with Black Widow." Well, no, we said it. We said what she was doing at the end of Black Widow. She's curing the Black Widows.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, did you not watch the end of that movie?
But it's like everyone. It's the fact that everyone. It's funny to me.
It's like her and Yelena aren't attached at the hip.
It's just the fact that like. Okay, folks, you happy? You're seeing what she's doing. See, this is what she was doing during that. I don't want to hear any more whining about it.
That guy says Yelena's quickly going into my favorite MCU characters list, and honestly, that guy, I like me too. Honestly,
same, yes.
Like Florence Pugh is just a big reason for that, just the performance. But yeah, I'm really liking the character. I hope we see more of her.
So something that was really fun: the instantaneous blip effect. Where we saw her like going to the bathroom.
Yes, I'm glad you bring that up, Dragon. That was so cool. Yeah,
but it was also like really like disheartening in a way, because for her and her perspective, it's like she's still here in her now, and then she's like out of the bathroom, and all of a sudden it's like this is not her world anymore. She doesn't belong anymore because it was taken from her. She didn't even know. She had no idea. I was like, oh. When I saw that
soon, like she's gonna find out what happened to her sister,
which is also just like devastating. Because, like I said, she walks in and walks out thinking that everything's fine. I just dealt with this one thing, and all of a sudden, it's like, no, lady, you've been gone for a long time. And it's like, oh my god, I need to find my wait, no, I need to deal with life now. It was honestly heartbreaking just watching her kind of.
No, it was great. It was compelling.
So,
you know what it actually reminded me of? It reminded me of the opening scene of The Leftovers.
A little bit.
Where it's just like this one isolated incident where it's like at first it doesn't even seem like much, but then it just quickly escalates into like, oh shit, no, this is a life-changing event right now.
Yes, absolutely.
So the implication being, and I like how we kind of set this up, though, she tried to save a Black Widow that basically, assumedly, was from the Natasha days of doing stuff where she wasn't chemically told what to do. She just kind of beat it herself. And you know, she's doing the reason she has such a nice house and everything is that she Black Widows for money, which is what gave Yelena the idea. I'm gonna basically be an assassin for hire, and she's working for Val, the Contessa, who were basically building to the Thunderbolts, which that Black Widow is on the Thunderbolts, so the Dark Avengers are.
I straight up want to see a Thunderbolts movie, dude.
And if I'm right, Tiki, and I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure we're going to say the Thunderbolts has been happening because Abomination was going back into a cell.
We got Abomination. We have to have Justin Hammer at some point. He's got to be there.
You see my point? It's like we saw Abomination was
Zemo
going
probably.
Yeah. So it's the fact that Abomination was going somewhere, which assumedly is probably where the Thunderbolts are keeping him.
What do you guys think we'll see Kate again? Probably the next Avengers movie, honestly.
I hope so.
Well, I think in the early
I feel like she's become
Wars.
I feel like she's become a part of like the family. Like she's tied now into as a character. So honestly, it would kind of be hard to watch anything now and not know.
It'd be possible for her to show up in Miss Marvel just as another cool. Kick-ass young female Avenger.
Yeah, that would absolutely work. They could do it. They could pull that off.
Well, it's entirely possible. I think the earliest I can expect is maybe giving her like a small role in Echo, but again, that's the earliest.
I can totally see her being an Echo, yeah.
But Miss Marvel's a good call. It was a question of do you really want to just plop her into while we're kind of seeing Miss Marvel kind of do?
Well, I'm saying with Miss Marvel, maybe if she's classmates with Kamala or something.
Well, maybe. I don't know how much of an age difference there is. I think Kate's in college, though. That's
Kate's like 20. I thought she was 22 or 23.
Well, age up Kamala then.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right.
Well, I think it's Kamala or Camilla. That's the thing.
I think it's Kamala.
I've heard it both ways. The game tells you how to say it. I forget how.
Oh God.
Anyway,
we're not trying to be insensitive here.
I think it's Kamala.
We're trying to say it the right way. I'm sorry.
Pretty sure it's Kamala, but don't quote me.
All right.
Anyway. Okay. What was I? Where was I going to next? All right. Okay. So. Again, we love the dime between, the fact that it's the next generation of the Hawkeye Black Widow friendship, just, now with over mac and cheese with these two. Okay, back to the namesake of the episode, Maya versus Ronin. So this is, Maya's going after Clint's family, which is like, okay, that's where I draw the line. I'm ending this now. I'm going to make it plainly understood. You go after my family, you're going to be the last person Ronin kills. Got it?
Totally.
Then she drops the bomb that basically Clint was trying to essentially, if I read it right, and I'm pretty sure I got this here, is that your uncle is the one who told Kazi to lead. I was looking for the leader of the tracksuits, which he did not know was the Kingpin. Kazi, per the Kingpin's instructions, directed him to her father. It was basically Kingpin trying to insulate himself from Ronin trying to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. So basically, I just love how offended she got. Like, she loves the Kingpin's like a second father to her ever since her father passed. The uncle. Like, the fact that the Kingpin drove her to and from her karate matches, man. The Kingpin's been around, been a nice guy to her. So, and we've seen what he's done on the inside of cars and people's heads and car doors. So it's
yes, Dragon, we remember.
So regardless, no, it's all seriousness though. I love just the suggestion of this. Maya gets the advantage. She almost kills Ronin there on the spot because you just can't accept, oh my God, you're saying my other father killed my father? How dare you?
Uh-huh.
Of course, Kate saves his bacon, and yeah, so Maya's gonna be rethinking some positions there.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, we end on "You're a Mean One, Mr. Fisk," which is honestly why episode 5 could be anyone's favorite, because you do get a little slice of Kingpin at the very end. He's there! We've introduced him! He's there! Which brings us to episode 6.
Dragon, hold on. We need to talk about the song.
Well, yeah, "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," but I just keep joking. It's "You're a Mean One, Mr. Fisk." It's great. It's brilliant.
I mean, first of all, it's just the utterly perfect song choice. But I think more importantly, and the thing that people aren't noticing, is the fact that that song is, I am pretty damn sure, squarely owned by Universal.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you might. I don't know how right you are about that. Because,
well, I mean, Universal owns the rights to the Grinch. I know that much.
So they still own it. You're sure?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They pimp Grinch out at the parks in Christmas all the time. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was still okay. So
Grinchmas is like a huge thing at the parks.
Oh, yeah, no, Wicked. Like in Universal Orlando, they literally just had him out for Christmas, and there were like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Plus
but they would own
the
original special, though. You're sure about that?
Not sure about the original special.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm wondering about. Like if they would own the original.
I don't know, but suffice to say, I like whoever owns it, I think Disney paid a pretty penny for that song. That's all.
Also, I mean, I wonder how much those Christmas movies were not all Disney movies when she was holding up the bunch of those DVDs.
Right. And you know what? I give that a lot of credit, especially because I feel like there's been some Fox movies as of late. Free Guy. I'm sorry. Free Guy is not as good of a movie as everyone says it is. There, I said it.
Oh, come on.
I said it, Dragon. I said it.
Why?
It's overhyped.
It is not overhyped.
Yes, it is. It's fucking overhyped.
Oh, come on. It is not overhyped.
And they throw in all the fucking Marvel and Star Wars references just because they can.
How dare you? How dare you?
Okay, you're not wrong. Although with Free Guy, because those
are earned references.
I thought Free Guy was kind of cute in a way.
Free Guy is like the definition of a 7 out of 10. It is the poster child of a 7 out of 10.
I mean, it was
you are
cute,
being so petty about Free Guy.
But, I mean, you're not wrong, though. I have to give that to you. As much as I thought it was a cute movie, and I was like, oh, this is kind of nice, there were
People get fucking nuts for it, though.
Because it was really nice.
Freaking Dragon, man. Oh, boy.
I don't mean to talk over the Gabs. By all means, Gabs, continue with your point, please.
Oh, you just want me to agree with you.
No, I don't want you to agree with me. I don't care if you agree with me. I don't want to interrupt you.
I didn't have anything else to add to that. I felt I said my piece.
This was a wasted exercise on my part.
I'm sorry I brought up Free Guy, all right?
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry, too.
I'm seeing Free Guy on a lot of top 10 of the year lists. I'm just like, no.
Really?
Fucking no.
I mean, I wouldn't put it in top 10.
So aggressive about the no. That's why you gotta be so aggressive about it.
I mean, but I wouldn't put it as a top 10 though. That I mean, it was okay, but it would definitely not make top 10.
It's not making my top 20.
Yeah, understood. True. Oh, that list is coming up.
All right. Okay, guys, I'm terribly sorry.
Just had to bring up guys. We're about to talk about happy things.
Purposes, it seems like Universal owns the rights to everything Grinch.
Okay, well there you go.
I would not be surprised if that was the whole thing.
I'm sure when they play the special on TV, they play it, on NBC, and I'm sure the special is on Peacock, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So that brings us to the last episode. So this is Christmas.
So all I have to say about this episode is that it is very busy. There's a lot of shit going on.
It's a king-sized episode, one might say.
Okay, first of all, how fucking glorious is that costume, dude? The costume is just incredible.
Well, there's 2 of them. Which one are you talking about? The first one or the second one?
What one do you think I'm talking? I'm talking about the fucking Christmassy one.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go. It's fine. It's not even a Christmas pull, though. But yeah, it is good.
But I think this episode kind of succeeds in spite of itself, if that makes sense. where it's like it really shouldn't have worked as much as it does because there is just a lot of shit being thrown at the wall.
Yes.
But somehow it just kind of all comes together for the most part.
Yeah, I will agree with that statement because I feel like there was a lot that they just kind of went, okay, well, we kind of ran out of time, so let me just throw all this garbage at you. But somehow it's like, okay, that actually wasn't as bad as I...
Like I thought, par usual with the show, I thought a lot of this episode was action, and the action is really damn good. So in that respect, this episode is.
It was
really
the die-hard climax, really. That's what this episode.
Yeah, was. Yeah. All right. Oh, that guy. Thank you so much. Oh God, I'm just. I feel like Free Guy is like a cult, anyways.
Yeah, because looking to everyone for vindication, that's a healthy attitude, right?
I am looking to Dragon. I have been looking to people for vindication this whole episode, and I feel great about myself.
Yeah, sure, that's gonna last. Okay. Okay. Anyway, right. So let's talk about some stuff we can agree upon here. D'Onofrio's back. Oh, yes. It was so wonderful when it came back. I love when the start of the episode.
I definitely think that he's got some sort of I don't think he has super strength or anything, but goddamn, he's a beast.
So here's the thing. All right, so first of all, aesthetically, they gave him the diamond cane. He has essentially, I'm not convinced it wasn't the lighting, but I'd like to believe it in my soul. He had the purple pants. He had the cane, he had because there's a purple light. I can't tell if it was a weird shade of black or what, but the point being he had purple pants. And D'Onofrio, as he's confirmed, and as you can kind of just tell watching it, and just when you're enamored by it, D'Onofrio's playing it exactly like he did the Netflix version. It's like, yes. Oh, the girlish shrieks I let out when this episode started. They're still in the stratosphere somewhere.
They jump to him right away too. They don't make you wait for him.
No, they don't.
Let me tell you, here's where I'm at on things afterwards, because we had to really wait and see to the last episode, how are we playing this? And I think whether is all of our hopes and dreams going to come true or not. So I think Feige is playing it smart, keeping it vague for now. And honestly, I think it's one of two things. But personally, I'm on board with both things. I don't think I'd be disappointed if they go either of these two ways with it. Okay, first way, I think we're all just kind of deep down hoping for Netflix. Basically Netflix happened. We just advanced the story within the 5-year blip. So we don't know why the Kingpin's bulkier and why he's a little stronger, and we don't know.
Oh my God! It is the reason why the phrase "we don't care" exists, right?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Here's what I wonder though. Okay, the fact that there are a few things that, again, I'm not saying we're for example, everyone's geeking out of the cufflinks, which obviously we are too. But it's hey, oh my God, those are the cufflinks, but those aren't the second pair of cufflinks that Vanessa gave him that he was wearing last time we saw him. Now that makes me think.
Whenever I think of cufflinks, I just think of Peter Pan.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Really? You go to Peter Pan over the Kingpin's cufflinks?
Yes, because cufflinks are a big point of drama in the beginning of that movie.
And they aren't in Daredevil!
He has a point.
I grew up on Peter Pan. I didn't grow up on Daredevil. I didn't watch Daredevil a million times in a row as a kid.
I saw Peter Pan too, but still, those are cufflinks with layers.
Tiki has a point here.
All right.
Okay, my point is I'm thinking, again, if we're saying Netflix absolutely happened, I'd like to think we need to see if there's a reason to some of this. Hey, I think something happened with Vanessa, and that's why he's reverted back to the old cufflinks.
I can see that.
And for all we know, and again, this one's more of it could just be an aesthetic thing we just have to accept. The fact we just want to make him look as comic accurate as possible. That's why he's bigger and more durable. I wonder if he has been juicing in the 5 years. I wonder if he to measure up.
I kind of got that vibe, honestly.
Because that's the thing. I think he might have a discount super soldier. So I'm not saying he's on the super soldier scene, but kind of a discount sort of thing. He's been juicing, or is some sort of thing. So that's what I'm saying. So that's option A. Option B, which I think ultimately that's the easiest way they can go and still work, is it's kind of a multiversal answer. What I'm saying by that is we're in the proper MCU. We're making the smart move, thank goodness, is that, okay, we're going to cast as many important Netflix characters as we can, bring them over so we can essentially capture all the magic of the Netflix shows, but reintroduce them with the things that we did not get in the Netflix series, like Kingpin off the page and Daredevil meeting other characters, perhaps.
Yeah, totally.
So that's what I'm saying. So either or,
the big thing that we need with Daredevil is the crossover, and obviously we are in the baby steps of getting that. So,
but I'm not off base there. I mean, either of those still works, right? I mean,
absolutely.
We get pretty much what we want with the other thing, but
my whole thing with Kingpin is I don't know. Obviously they aren't just gonna fucking shoot him in the face.
Well, I know, Tiki. I know. I can tell you what happens to the Kingpin.
God, I know what happens to him. He gets blinded.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm just saying, as someone who, I even before I knew that, I was just like, okay, obviously they're not going to kill him off because they didn't even show the body. So it's like, what are you even doing? I don't even understand. I get why you would want to end his story this season like that, but at the same, I don't know. I just feel like it would really piss off people who didn't understand comic book logic, because it's like you just get him back and then you kill him. I don't know.
Let me tell you where they went wrong. Very simply. Went wrong in that I heard, I don't know how official this was. I heard there was supposed to be, the fact we didn't have a Kingpin in the post-credit scenes to show that he's okay. Now, I heard a rumor that the plan was Kingpin was supposed to get in the hospital, get a message from Hawkeye saying, "Don't come after my family," with the sword, the Ronin sword being sent to him. That was going to be the threat. So that's how we would have verified, okay, Kingpin's alive. And basically what we've done here anyway, slice it, is he's going to want revenge on Echo in the Echo series. That's pretty much what we're going to. But you're right, though. We don't see that. So I really think it was a mistake to go Rogers the Musical instead of
Okay, and Rogers the Musical, here's what I will say. I think that the bit that we got in the episode itself, in episode 1, was just enough of it. And then this, honestly, even for me, went on a little long.
It's fun, but here's the thing. If you have 2 post-credit scenes, if you want to have that as your holiday thing. But honestly, that should be at the very end, and you should, as the big reward for people sticking around till the end, and then you have Kingpin as the mid-credits. That's what you should have done.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's see. Of course, just with D'Onofrio just being awesome, just to geek out on it for a second. It's just like Tiki again, the wish fulfillment of, oh god, D'Onofrio's back and he's had a scene with our girl. He's had a scene with Vera Farmiga.
I know, right? Oh my god, yeah, that is totally.
Because I was geeking out when Vera Farmiga said Hawkeye, honestly, but it's like this is 20 times better. Oh my god, she's sitting down. It's the opening of the episode, and my favorite line in the whole show. Let me tell you. Oh, God. It's my favorite line of the whole show is the Bishop woman thinks she can quit her job as if she works for Goldman Sachs.
Oh, my gosh. That was so funny. I was like, wow, okay. He really throwing down. Okay.
Just the fact I'm just so pleased with everything with him in the episode and the whole, in the spirit of the holidays, I'll give you a moment to think when you're starting here. And then, of course, Tiki, we get our wish. My Maya. When he's just so hurt by, look what you've taken away from me. Just my Maya. He's just, the whole Vanessa thing. He's really hurt by it.
Right.
But just the fact that, again, I love that he genuinely says, "I love you," is the last thing he's going to say to his figurative daughter here before he has to kill her, because he knows she is a genuine threat who could bring me down. I have to kill her. And it pains him. And you get that because D'Onofrio is wonderful. Right. So we Home Alone some arrows and we label them this time, and that's great.
Oh my gosh, I love the labels.
And they're Back to the Future labels, which is even cooler.
I thought that was so funny. So what should we name this one? Oh my gosh, those labels were great. I was like, I actually paused to actually look and see what they were called, because I was like, oh my god, what the hell are these names?
Yeah. I'm a big gadget nut, so this was absolutely Christmas for me. Kingpin being the episode was actually Christmas for. This was the second thing. So the Rockefeller Center fight, amazing, right? I mean, I love that we set up Kate destroying things. Oh god, she's gonna take down the big symbol of Christmas in New York.
That stressed me out. As I was watching, I was like, oh my god, where is that tree going? It stressed me out watching it. Just kind of, I was like, nope, I can't. I have to look away. I don't know why it stressed me out either. I was like, everything else I've watched in this freaking show is just, the action. Kate breaking shit, all of that was kind of fine, but that tree, I was like, nope, I gotta look away. This is stressing me out.
And again, just so many awesome trick errors, including the shrinking pin particle, which shrinks those poor guys. And I love that we took a moment just to acknowledge, yes, in the Ant-Man movies we've established, you need like the respirator and everything when you shrink. So if those guys get out, what in God's name is going to happen to them before we can like? I'm gonna have to ask Scott about that. They were absconded with by the Christmas owl.
All right.
So Kate and Yelena in the elevator, hilarious, right?
Oh my gosh. It's actually all of the Kate and Yelena scenes.
Yeah, oh my god, just Kate trying to push all the buttons like a little child.
But not just a child. I like to think that's an Elf reference when he pushes all the buttons in the elevator. The Favreau of it all just makes it even better.
And she was so annoyed too. But I just, like I said, I really
so
enjoyed.
Annoying, Kate
Can't we
Bishop.
just get a drink? Yeah, sure. After I kill Clint Barton.
Yeah. Just the way that they had her and Kate's scenes in general, they really worked them well, and you could really feel all of the emotions. So when Yelena was so annoyed with Kate, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm annoyed too. That would have pissed me off too. Trying to go kill somebody and, here you are being a baby.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the way that they threw those in there.
So also Jack goes full swordsman here with the Errol Flynn charm, man.
Okay, this was like one of my favorite payoffs of the whole season, honestly.
Was his
just
sword.
Because I had been kind of, I've been kind of skeptical about Jack and his usefulness this season, but I don't know, man. Like, what I loved about this was that it was heroic, but also kind of idiotic at the same time.
Absolutely.
I love how forgiving he was towards Eleanor. Like, honey, I'd like to speak with you for a moment. And the whole like,
he's just a genuinely chill dude, and that's what I love about him as a red herring.
And this was a really good payoff for the LARPers, because that's absolutely how you get the swordsman in a classic costume. He would absolutely take up LARPing.
Oh my gosh! Don't make him go through that. Don't make him go through
Look
LARPing.
at him. He's a chipper guy, not like you. Come on.
Oh God.
Being all down on the LARPing?
No. We cannot put him through that, okay? Nobody should go through LARPing.
He's
I'm
got the
sorry.
stash for it.
It doesn't matter if he has the stash for it. Let that man be. Let him. It's terrible. The stash.
He's got the stash for it. He does. That's a Renaissance mustache.
See him like doing like an Inigo Montoya.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's tailor-made for it.
No, he's tailor-made for a movie like that, not LARPing itself. You gotta let this LARPing go, Dragon. You gotta let it go.
Me? You gotta let it go, woman.
Oh God.
Okay, let's talk about the duel fight. So we have two big showdowns that kind of build, or the big climaxes of our finale. So we have Clint and Yelena getting closure over Natasha. And I like that it's more emotions versus words, because I don't think it's that Yelena is too dumb to like realize, well, he's telling you the truth. I mean, you're like a human lie detector. You know he's telling the truth, but it's like she can't accept that truth, man.
Mm-hmm.
She's upset with him, and Hawkeye's going to take that abuse because he feels like he deserves it. And ultimately, you got to realize there's nothing they could have said to stop her.
Yeah.
So let's go to Fao Schwartz.
I mean, Dragon, honestly, I don't have a ton to say about all the action. Like, it's all really good. I don't really feel like giving like a play-by-play on everything. Fao Schwartz is a good pull from like do an iconic New York Christmas stuff, to be sure.
Absolutely, yes.
I just don't feel like going beat by beat through it.
Well, I'm not saying we go beat by beat through. I'm saying I like how it's like him. It's like Kate needs to mature here, so she's in a toy store while she's doing that. She's having that big kind of like. I'll tell you one thing. I'm really bothered by everyone's complaints about Kingpin episode are all around this scene. And it bothers me because like this scene was great. Everyone's like saying like, oh, the Kingpin lost to like a newbie. I was like, no, you could see he was clearly winning that fight. She lucked out with the coin trick and this cufflink. She lucked out. And also, as D'Onofrio's kind of confirmed here, this is Kingpin post blip. He has lost a lot of his empire to the Ronin, so he's taking a more practical stance here. Kingpin's he's kind of working up the ladder like he did with Rigoletto, which we never saw in the Netflix show. It's kind of cool, like seeing Kingpin more hands on like this, get a chance to fight people like he classically fights Spider-Man. It's nice.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we already talked about the whole Echo thing, so we need to go through that again. But just our end point here. I think we had a real Green Book ending, which I liked.
Why do you have to bring up that fucking movie?
Well, the end. Come on, the ending of Green Book is
I'm
at
so
Christmas.
defeated right now.
The ending of Green Book is nice, though. It's Christmas.
It's not. That's like the word to describe that movie.
Yeah, nice. Nice is a dirty word, right? Yeah.
It's a dirty word when you're talking about actual serious, really race relation shit that totally got literally whitewashed in that movie.
See, I haven't yet to see that movie, so that's
I think it's arguably one of the worst Best Picture winners ever.
Oh, come on, don't let him bring it down with that. Just form your own opinion. Watch the thing.
I obviously
Don't let him dour the mood.
Well, I obviously can have my own opinion on things. I just know that in general, in our friendship, Tiki and I have had very similar standpoints on certain things. So I don't know. I might see it and then call up Tiki and be like, "Yo, Tiki, you were right."
That movie is full of a lot.
I would be surprised if you actually liked it.
There is a lot of charm in that movie. Come on.
There's also a lot of whitewashing in that movie.
Oh no. Oh, now I'm scared.
Very literal whitewashing.
Yes, and you're the authority on whitewashing.
Viggo Mortensen isn't racist. He's charmingly racist.
No.
It was the 60s.
It was the 60s. Fuck you. All right.
Oh no.
Is that really your excuse for it? All right, yeah, because during the 60s, it was totally cool to be racist. All right.
You know, I'm just trying to bring up, they had a nice Christmas ending.
You were the one that brought up Green Book. You know I don't like Green Book.
Oh my god.
But you know, the whole point of Green Book is he needs to get home for Christmas. Same thing with
Jesus.
Hawkeye.
Oh, I actually forgot that Green Book was a fucking Christmas story.
That's what I'm saying. Why do you think I brought it up?
Oh no! Yeah,
I mean, can't you use a better, more legitimate, more heartfelt, more
it ends with the same song
more
and
honest
everything.
movie? Like, I don't know, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Oh, that's a good one.
And not fucking Green Book.
The fact that we're introducing the friend to the family, exactly like Green Book.
Okay, Dragon.
Hey, racist Italian family. Here's this colored person I got along with. He's not so bad, you know.
He learned something.
Does he though?
Yes, he did.
All right, I feel like this is a very cancelable conversation.
Anyway, so the ending of
The point is, he invited Kate to Christmas with the family, which was really nice, really sweet. Also, the pizza dog.
Yeah, it was nice of him to do so. Yes.
I also think it's nice of the fucking wife to let her come.
Oh my gosh, I was actually kind of surprised because I was watching her face.
Because if I was the wife, I'd be like, no, you literally, your shenanigans ruin Christmas, child.
Also, the other reason for the Green Book reference, Linda Carlini plays the wife in that movie too.
Anyway, so with this ending in Hawkeye,
you're really going back to the Green Book thing, Dragon. I'm not touching it.
we're going back to Hawkeye endings.
The mantle's being passed on. They're burning the Ronin suit so he can officially put everything behind him
and give back the watch, which I thought was hilarious. If you need to take better care of your stuff.
Now the watch.
Oh.
So the watch thing is the big can of worms people are kind of fixating on with the episode, with the whole Mockingbird thing. And I was afraid they were going to go here because you're never going to hear the end of it, where it's the whole. A lot of people say that's the nail in the coffin for the canonicity of everything, the whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing.
I just don't care.
I know, that's ultimately... I
don't care enough about the minutia of the continuity. I really don't. I'm just happy to have him back.
Yeah, I agree.
What I'm saying is I think people are reading too much into the whole, like, it's the nail, they're looking too much on, like, it's finally what we need, it's the nail in the coffin. You know, look, it's like, there's all...
folks, we hit the nail in the coffin a long time ago. It was Mahershala Ali being cast as Blade.
Look, and they double cast.
That was the nail in the coffin, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, to be fair, Cottonmouth's dead, Tiki, so it's not really...
Okay, yeah, I know, but it's still the same actor playing another character.
Right. Anyway... So, regardless, just the whole thing of like, it's like it's Agent 19, which is like makes her Mockingbird. So in a sense, Hawkeye actually got to marry Mockingbird like he did in the comic, which is nice. And I think again, I like that we're kind of broaching in the fact that we're not just saying Mockingbird in big bright letters, so it's like it's official or anything. It's like, well, numbers and names.
That word means absolutely nothing to me.
Yeah. Like numbers, just numbers and name and code names getting passed down. So I think there's like a happy middle ground. So I think it's what people should be focusing on versus the other thing. Yeah.
All right.
Also, it's nice that we end on the target from Endgames. The fact he's literally put things behind his back to the happy.
That was nice. Yeah, I will say that was a good visual callback for sure.
He's a kind of full circle to the whole Ronin story. Yeah.
All right, Jesus Christ, we did it.
We did it.
Now, Tiki, are you forgetting something?
Yeah, Todd. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Think
All right, folks, I'm going to address this. I think what I am going to do, actually, because frankly, I am not happy about the results of this poll, and not just because I don't agree with the results, simply because I think that our method is broken at this point. Folks, the problem with the poll that we've been having is just that we're having a hard time coming up with an average score if the number of people voting on the poll is like wildly different from week to week. Mm-hmm. So we're having a hard time calculating that score. As it stands now, we have a system in place for the polls where basically for every five out of 5 vote, you get 2 points. The episode gets 2 points. Next week, join Tiki and review the Christmas month. Oh, hell no.
No. Oh my gosh.
That will never happen. It will never be a seasonal shenanigans pick. Trust me. All right. I'm sorry. So yeah, if you for 4 votes, you get 1 point. Votes of 3 stars just cancels it out and gets 0 points. Votes of 2 stars gets -1 point. Votes of 1 star get -2 points. Just laying it out like that. It's way too fucking complicated. We need to reconfigure it. I'm going to put up a poll to ask you guys if you even want to do polls for Book of Boba Fett. If you don't, that's totally cool, because frankly, I think it's a little underwhelming. But let's run through it. So first of all, this is where I think that the poll is just kind of broken. Episode 2 with 16 points is our number 1.
Really?
So yeah, that's a little broken right there. I will say that episode number 2, the second best episode, according to you guys, according to the poll, according to our broken ass system, is episode 5, which I can vibe with. Episode 3 is number 3, and episode 5 got 15 points. Episode 3 got 10.5 points, 10.5 points. Number 4 was episode 1. Episode 1 got 10 points, so there was just a half a point difference there. Now, all the way down at number 5 is episode 6 with 9 points, which I just straight up don't agree with. And then way down there at number 6 is episode 4 with fucking 2 points, which just kind of proves that the system that we have is broken.
And again, the big, so again, folks, the big factor is just getting the number of votes, but also sometimes we do not always go at the same times, which kind of cuts down the time people can vote in set.
Right.
That's that's why we have to have like a whole point.
So I am going to put up a poll right after we get out of this, and basically just ask you guys if you even want polls for Book of Boba Fett, or if it's just something that you guys aren't really engaging with. Because if you're not engaging with it, I don't want to flood up the community page with it. So, all right. Anyways, I think that's it. I think, do we need to go around and do final thoughts? I think we've pretty much covered our bases here.
I feel like we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabby, thanks a lot for coming on. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure as well.
And, of course, a big thanks to Donovan Martin and that guy for gracing us in the comments. You guys rock.
Tiki, we got a thing we should end on with MJ.
Oh, God. Dragon, I am not convinced that this person is not a bot, if I'm being honest with you.
Really?
I only say that just because this is a very similar question to what they threw out last night, and it's also like it's a very generic name. We have not seen the name before. I mean, MJ, if you're a real person, by all means, but they've only
MJ might just
commented
feel
one
really
time with
insulted
this
right
very
now.
generic question. So, but as far as top 3 superhero movies of the year goes for me, Jesus Christ, what superhero movies were there outside of the MCU? Let's start. I mean, there was Suicide Squad.
Batman Long Halloween.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say number 3 would be Shang-Chi. Number 2 would be Suicide Squad, and number 1, I mean, No Way Home. And as far as shows go, I'm probably just gonna rank the MCU stuff, but ranking the MCU stuff, I would put What If in last place, followed by Loki, followed by WandaVision, followed by Falcon and Winter Soldier at number 2, and then Hawkeye at number 1.
Really?
Loki really did not stick to landing for me. I really did not. That guy says, MJ, I loved you and know him. I really, really, really did not like the way that Loki ended. I really did not like that final episode. It killed a lot of goodwill.
Just no patience for the long game.
And then WandaVision is, I mean, it's great. I just feel like it's messy. It's a messy show. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, there's a couple dull episodes, and I really do think it could have benefited from just being released all at once. But I do think it comes together at the end really damn well. Has a great ending. Isaac Bradley is a great character.
Isaiah Bradley.
Did I say Isaac Bradley? I'm sorry. You lost me again, Loki. I'm not a Kang fan. That guy, you know that. You should know.
He's got Kang issues, man. I don't know what to tell you.
He was fucking. He's
got a
ambled
Kang
it up
thing.
like Captain Jack Sparrow. That's the way I can describe it.
Yeah, for me, just the 3 series, no particular order: Falcon, Winter Soldier, Invincible, and Hawkeye.
Oh, Invincible was 2021. God,
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it is 2021.
Time is just fucked up at this point for me.
It is, especially this year.
Yeah, I mean, if Invincible was in fact 2021, then yeah, I'll put that
Yeah,
up.
it was March. It was in 2021.
Oh,
yeah.
dear God. All right.
It was the first thing that kind of
March of 2021 might as well be 5 years ago at this
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
point.
It is.
Anyways. Okay. So yeah, I think we pretty much hit that on the head. So
All right.
if MJ asks us about that again, we're not going to answer, right?
Okay. All right. Fine. Then we'll know.
I mean, if it is a real person, I appreciate the engagement, but I have my doubts.
Oh, that guy said Falcon is my least favorite. I actually have to agree with that. Falcon was my least favorite too.
And she
It
stabbed
was
me in the heart
messy,
again.
but it had a lot of really redeeming moments for me.
It wasn't bad. It was not my favorite. There was a lot that I just started to like.
That guy
lose
says there's no
interest.
way Invincible was this year. What the fuck? Yeah,
Oh,
I
come on,
know,
it was
right?
this year. It was this year.
No, but I understand the sense. It feels like it was like 2019 for some
Yeah.
reason.
This
I
year
don't
just-
know why. All right.
Oh.
All right,
Yeah, it was
guys.
March
That's it, guys. We've talked for like 2 hours practically. Let's end this
We have.
before we get to the 2-hour
Right,
point.
well, remember who has the ending.
I've got it. I'm looking right at it.
All right.
Great.
I want to make sure.
All right. That'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Motto y mano. Just plus. And us.
Lucky the pizza dog.
Hawkeye.